I am delighted to be joined by Craig Donohue. He has been CEO of the CME Group since 2004. Craig, great to have you here.
Thank you.
Since you have been CEO of the CME, you've done in excess of $20 billion of transactions. The latest, of course, as Margaret just mentioned, being the purchase of the majority interest, the vast majority interest of the Dow indexes, an important part of your business. But what I really want to know is, where do we go from here? Where do you see new opportunities for growth and expansion, either regionally or by product, for a company like CME, which is so spread out already?
Right. Well, we're a global company, and we've got a tremendous range of business in terms of every asset class. You know, our origins are in commodities, but we trade foreign exchange and interest rates and, you know, energy products and metals. And we also have a major business in central counterparty clearing, which is guaranteeing the performance of transactions. Because we operate on a global basis, we see a lot of opportunities in global and emerging markets in terms of increasing our distribution and broadening further the range of products that we trade. But we're also beginning to provide very successfully over-the-counter clearing services for more complex derivative transactions that aren't really executed on exchanges. And then, of course, there's tremendous growth potential just in our core business, which is huge.
Do you see other multi-billion-dollar deals in the future for the CME Group, or is that a phase of your growth that's behind you?
Well, our business is so dynamic, and it has been for the 20-plus years that I've been there, that it's always hard to say forever what will be true. But, you know, obviously, we've been very conservative as a company in terms of mergers and acquisitions. It's been very cost synergy focused. I think it was quite logical that we would be the acquirer of, you know, exchanges like the Board of Trade and NYMEX. So our focus right now is really more on strategic investments, commercial relationships with exchanges in emerging markets. And I think it's not likely that mergers and acquisitions will be a key part of that growth strategy. Sort of in the short to medium term. Right.
There is, as you mentioned, an enormous opportunity for derivative exchanges like yours to move into the over-the-counter market, the OTC market. It has been slow going thus far for the CME in the credit default swap market. What I want to know is, how are you changing your tactics, your approach to breaking into OTC in order to adapt to the demands of your customers?
Yeah, great question. I mean, first of all, we do have a very successful business in OTC clearing through CME Clearport. We've got a very broad range of products and a roughly $300 million a year business in oil, gas, and power clearing. And now we're beginning to extend ourselves into credit default swaps and interest rates. One of the things that we've had to do is really step back and focus on the customer needs and what the market participants want. And what we've heard loud and clear is they want central counterparty clearing more than they want execution services. We've had to really say, look, we've got to find a way to partner with the large investment banks that have a tremendous business in the over-the-counter derivatives markets. And I think we're successfully doing that. We're really trying to build bridges, make sure that, you know, we can accommodate them in terms of their interests and how we can complement their businesses. And at the same time, we have to be true to the buy-side institutions that, you know, have their own set of preferences and goals.
Do you think you need to do more in the way of, say, revenue sharing or rebates other exchanges even outside the derivatives business have done?
Well, that's in essence what we've done, is we've tried to come up with, you know, a service offering, a product offering, governance and financial terms of participation that make sense and that make all of these sell-side institutions and buy-side institutions feel like we're their partner. So that's exactly what we're doing.
Craig, I've got time for one more question. What's the next asset class that we're going to see the CME exploit? Is it going to be green power, for example? Is it going to be real estate? People are looking for hedging opportunities, not to mention speculation in any number of places.
Right. Well, obviously, with the concentration of wealth that people have in real estate, you know, primarily residential, but even commercial, it's a huge asset class, and it's one of the only asset classes that hasn't yet matured into, you know, using hedging and risk management products. We are working on that. And then, as you mentioned, green products is a whole other very fertile area of opportunity for us. So we're working on both of those, and they have the potential over time, I think, to be significant. But some of that is going to depend on legislation and energy and green policy.